Can I tell you the best part of having Bill Burr in studio
What's
is
that?
the fact that Bill Burr did a live read that I didn't have to do. It's very appreciated.
I love the live reads.
You do. You gotten some internet notoriety for your live reads.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'd assume Audible would be very, very happy that the famous live reader Bill Burr is.
It's more just because I suck at reading out loud that the sort of the comedy doesn't stop when the commercials come, because then you get to hear it, my reading out loud, it gives people hope. Like this guy's making a living. He's making a really decent living, and he can't even read out loud.
Right. It lets everybody know. Like, don't let the things that are holding you back hold you back.
When it becomes a part of it, like when, hey, look, he's gonna fuck around with the read and have fun. That's great because you can kind of do what you want.
Yeah.
And not worry like, I'm gonna lose a sponsor.
They don't fast forward through it.
Or you lose a sponsor, and you're like, well,
I've lost a lot of sponsors.
Oh, you have?
If people hang in there. Oh yeah, Nature Box was the big one that I lost, which I thought it was.
Who is she?
I thought it was Nature's Box. Yeah, it was such a kid joke, and I was just like, I go, "You're eating Mother Nature's twat," right? And they flipped.
Really?
And
didn't
rather
like
than
that?
just they should. Look, I get why they were also doing that, but if you just rolled with that, people would listen to every fucking time about me talking about Mother Nature's box.
Right.
But they're also getting the information, and then
they'll try the product.
Yeah, that's what happened with Sherry's Berries. But at the end of the day, Sherry's Berries evidently are fucking delicious. So that's what everybody was just like, because at the end of that read, when I was laughing at the copy, that was so like homoerotic / homophobic the way they wrote the stuff. I can't remember. I just lost it when I was reading it, and they ended up, in the end, I said something, you guys better buy this because they're going to give me a lot of shit. So people out of solidarity started to buy it, but then they were like fucking delicious.
They're the best.
I heard they're delicious.
When they used to send them up, because they used to send them up when we were doing them.
This sounds like a paid advertisement right now.
It does, right? Yeah. They were doing them.
Sam, tell your story about Sherry's Berries.
They used to send them up when we were doing live reads, and they were fucking amazing. Giant things with chocolate. The best.
Yeah.
The best.
Dipped in chocolate. I remember the read.
So what's going on, man? What's
We're finishing up the second season. I taped a special. My favorite, other than I hate the editing of the special, but my absolute favorite fucking thing in stand-up is wiping the entire slate clean
That's what
and
Jim
just
Jim
going
was
on
saying that.
stage. It's just like you don't understand that some people don't get like your act after a while becomes like this person that you're living with that you should have broke up with like a year ago.
It's so funny because
it just becomes this fuck. And
In the
especially if I had some long act out shit and I was just like, oh my God, I can't fucking. And then with the funniest thing, then the next day, like I was thinking all those jokes are gone. I was just like, oh, I'm gonna miss doing that joke.
It really is a relationship.
It
It's
totally
like in
is.
the beginning you love your jokes.
Yep.
Like you're just totally head over heels for them, and this is the best it'll
They can
ever
do
be.
no wrong.
Right. And then you just resent them because they're around all the time.
Yeah.
And they just want to be a part of everything.
And then you
they
let them
go.
Then you let them go, and you're like, oh, that was kind of nice.
It wasn't so bad.
Yeah.
When you drop stuff, like I hate doing gigs after I shoot. When you still got like 6 more or 10 more gigs to do to finish up, like you've booked like 4 more.
Right.
Because I'm shooting in December, and then New Year's Eve is after that, so I got to work New Year's Eve probably for
No,
the
and
month.
you got to come with the A shit.
And then you'll do it, and then hopefully drop them January 1st.
Well,
It'll be
I
nice.
had I was working right up till that, and now I'm doing Comics Come Home, and I got that on the 12th, and then other than that, I'm done for the year.
You are taking some time. That's the best way to do it. To take a month. I'll probably take a lot of January. It's good just to take some time to relax.
And I've never
work it
really
out.
done it, and I want to fucking fly some helicopters, play drums, fuck around, indulge in my hobbies and that type of shit. No.
We used to go up at the Improv and stuff and work on stuff, or are you actually just taking a month where you're fucking just hanging?
I go to like the Comedy Store, but then it's also kind of big to go out and go do shit and go live a life. Like I flew up to Bakersfield. I'm kind of flying over the LA basin. There's like 9,000 people in the fucking air, and I swear to God, 5 minutes you got to switch frequencies. But it's the first time like we took off out of
It's all
Burbank.
like the inside helicopters.
Yeah.
Like everybody else that flies helicopters is like, yeah, I know. He's fucking
No,
right.
it just gets to the point of like fuck, and then
Yeah.
once you get out of this shit, and you go north on the 5, it's like one frequency. Then all you have to deal is just a little bit of turbulence, and then you're all right.
How high do you go? And would I get motion? I've never been in a helicopter, but I kind of want to do it. I've never done it, but it scares me that I would get sick or whatever. Is it how much different than a plane is it? I mean, I feel like you feel helpless.
I've been doing it for a while, so I kind of forget. I do remember the first time hovering was just like it was like what the fuck? It was like you're just levitating. Like how does this work?
Don't you feel like you're dropping up and down?
Oh, when you're flying?
No. Aren't you bouncing a little if you're hovering?
Depends if there's crosswind, if there's a lot of wind or something like that. Little things can happen. But I mean, you're fine, dude. You don't hover like. You hover around like 8 feet, and even then, if something bad happened, I mean, those skids can take you. You just bounce down on the ground. You'd be fine.
But I mean, if you're hovering at like 1,000 feet for a bit.
Oh, what about that? If you're just kind of going,
don't you feel like you're bouncing a little bit?
No, well, even if you were, you'd have to be. There's like no tree lines, so you can't see if you're going up and down. But you're kind of just sitting there in the air. That's what appealed to me about flying a helicopter. Was it felt like it was really like flying, like you can just lift up, go backwards, turn around. You're like a hummingbird.
Right.
The only thing that is on long trips, like there was a few times going up to Bakersfield, I was just like, wow, man, if I had like a fixed wing, like plane, I mean, you just cruising.
Right.
Like because of the design, the physics of it, and the drag and everything, there's only so fast you can go with the rotor before you get what's called retreating blade stall. So
which means what?
It's basically as the winds come, it's gonna be all like nerdy shit.
That's fine.
It's basically Jesus Christ, I had to know this for the
helicopter test.
Yeah, it's retreating blade stall was.
No,
I got it. It's basically, I think that is that.
They're going to take away your license.
You know what I'm thinking? I'm thinking the symmetry of lift. Retreating
that
blade.
we talked about yesterday, but I mean,
retreating blade stall is basically what happens. You're going too fast for something to lip. All I know is you just hear it. All I know is the sound of it. Then wham, 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 wham. Then you just slow down. I can't even give you the fucking definition.
But you've had it happen where you're going to stall.
No, I've gotten up to the point of it. So I mean,
okay.
It's basically it's one of those things. If it was going on, you would know what happened. I mean, it's a very simple thing. They give you rules. You don't go. I haven't gone that fast. There's a few times that I've forgotten things. I got in a turbulence and I was still flying fast. I go, what the fuck? I'm like, oh yeah, slow down. Then you slow down and you're still getting bounced around, but it's not that bad.
How bad a turbulence have you hit?
No, I don't. Not at all. Because I look at the weather reports before I go up there, and if it's anything beyond
Have you actually said, fuck it, I'm not going up today because of the weather?
Absolutely.
Okay.
There's two types of people that get their license. It's the person who just is like, yeah, fuck it, I got it, let's go. And then there's someone like me who like every month, tries to go down and do some autos and all the emergency shit because that's my big fucking thing.
Sure.
Being able to take to get your license, you only had to go into the flare. I can't believe I forgot what the fuck retreating blade stall.
Will your wife go up with you, or is she
happened.
scared or no?
She will now, but there is that stuff where it's like. You have to, like, I keep going back to my notes, like all that shit that you had to learn about, like, what kind of rotor system you have. It's a semi-rigid that can flap and flutter and fucking all of this shit and cone, all the stuff you had to know. Like, I try to go back and look at it. I haven't looked at it in a couple of months, and that's like just shit that will, like.
So it's not like riding a bike where it's like you just know how to do it or driving a car.
It's like playing guitar.
Right.
Or playing drums, where it's like you can still do it,
but you're not an expert.
But your fingers aren't like going like where they're supposed to. So it's one of those things where it's like going to the gym. So I try to go, I try to go at least once a week. But like there's times where I won't go for almost a whole month because I just get so busy with the show. But then I come out of it and I just fly with an instructor 3-4 times. And I just have them drill me with all like the type of stuff, but the thing about it is the way they're maintained. They're so safe that I can actually be up there and forget the definition of retreating blade stall, but know what it is and know how it happens and how to get out of it.
How do you figure out these hobbies? Like, are you just like, I got so much going on right now. I got the animated thing. I got comedy.
I didn't have the animated thing really going on. What happened was the claustrophobia of living in L.A.
That's what it was.
Like, how the fuck do I get out of here? Because it takes like 6 hours to get out of this fucking city of Phils, even if things are running correctly.
Right.
Forget about if the dollar collapses, if there's some fucking earthquake or some shit like that. What's the best way out? Up and out.
Right.
Helicopter.
And that's what The Rock flew in San Andreas.
Yes.
Right? The Rock was flying a helicopter, so you're obviously on the right path.
Well, here's the thing. The only thing that was bullshit about that scene was that he said, we have to auto-rotate. Like, you don't say that. No, you don't say that. You have like a ridiculously low amount of time to slam the collective down. You don't have to. Like the other day, I was on a plane that kind of was on fire, and we just made an emergency landing. And then after we landed, the guy goes, hey, sorry I didn't make an announcement. I had my hands full up there, which meant some sort of nauseating light came on. Or he smelt it. It smelled like burnt popcorn. I thought the stewardesses were burning a dinner or something.
It was a commercial flight that was on fire?
Yeah.
How far into it were you?
That was the funny thing. We were going Nashville to L.A., and we ended up landing in Little Rock. So, like, we were in the air for, like, 40 minutes, and all of a sudden we started descending. And I was thinking going, like, all right, is they going underneath some some turbulence or some shit, and then all of a sudden my drink started sliding down like the armrest. I was going to hit. So I'm like, wow, we're really going down. And the lady came by. She goes, yeah, we're collecting all the drinks because we're going to be landing shortly. I was just 40 minutes into Nashville to L.A., and the woman next to me takes her headphones off. And she was like, we're here already? Which I would have done at some point in my life. So I'm not like trashing her. I just laughed. I was like, no, I think we're making an emergency landing. She was like, why? I go, probably had to do with that burning smell. So I just, to keep myself calm, I'm like, all right, he's controlling the aircraft. He was flying this fucking thing. It wasn't like that autopilot shit. Like he was flying, and so my whole thing was like going, "Oh my god, is it one of those fucking cell phones, the Galaxy 7 that somebody left in the bag?" And
they make the announcements now when you get on the plane. If you have one of those, tell us right now.
You got to take it off the plane. Yeah. They were saying they might have to be powered off. Now they're like they can't be on the plane.
Yeah, and so I was just sitting as we were descending, just thinking like, is this thing going to go through some fucking wire or some hydraulics or some shit that's going to like I don't know anything about planes or anything, but so we're coming in, and I looked out the window and I thought we were in St. Louis because I thought what I saw was the Mississippi River, but it was just some river that feeds into it outside of Little Rock. So we're coming in for a landing, and like all I can look out the side and all I see is trees in this fucking river. And for half a second I'm like, is this guy going to sully this thing and put it in the water? So then I was just thinking, stay conscious. And I was thinking everything. As the front of the plane gets fucked up, and that door that's right there, because I was in the first seat.
Yeah.
Like, I'm the first guy out, and I'm not taking anybody with me either. Then I was thinking, if that thing gets crunched up and won't open up, then I got to fight my way.
And you will fight your way back.
Oh, yeah. I would have been stepping on people's heads to get out of there. But then it would have been like, everybody trying to get out. But then fortunately I saw the runway. Then they landed. Then I'm like, reverse engines, please reverse engines. And then it got to a point of like, even if we hit a fence, we were okay. And I was like, all right. And then we get off the plane. There's like a fire engine and people in like these asbestos suits and shit or whatever the fuck.
Did you go to the gate or did you stay on the runway?
No, went to the gate and we got off, and then they're all going. Like there's like literally people in like those beekeeper fire suits and a big fire engine, one of those airport ones up against near the plane. And they were like, okay, we're going to see if this thing, we can still fly. It's like, yeah, dude. Nobody's getting back on that fucking plane.
No.
So then they go, all right, we can't fly that. We do have another plane for you guys. The problem is it's 2 hours away. And the crew is an hour away from the plane. And commendable crowd there. Only 10% were like, oh, Jesus, this is no way to run an airline. It's like, dude, this is a great way to run an airline.
Right.
We could have just burned to death.
Yeah.
From 35,000 feet, and this fucking guy knew what to do, and he got us on the ground safely. Shut the fuck up.
Yeah, they want an extra plane and a flight crew there for every plane, just in case any of them catch on fire in there.
It's not Uber.
Right.
Another jumbo jet's not showing up in 5 minutes to fucking Little Rock, Arkansas.
So what did you do? Did you switch airlines or did you just hang out and wait?
No, I just hung because I checked the bag. I was thinking about doing that, but even then, like that airport was almost closing down. It was the Bill and Hillary Clinton Airport in Little Rock, Arkansas.
Really?
Yeah, and I went up to the bar. I watched the Razorbacks get their ass kicked by Auburn, and then I watched the Cubs go to their first World Series, and just even being in a World Series in 71 years, it was great, man. I had a couple of pops. You know, I just chilled out. And I was just like, no matter how long it took, I was like, I didn't burn to death.
Right,
that's
great point, man.
Yeah, and then it took it to like 1 a.m. We landed at like 6, and they said the crew was going to be there by 8:30. Of course, now it's 9, now it's 10, the usual bullshit.
Right,
trying to get a jumbo jet there, right? So everybody's starting to yell at these fucking people at the Little Rock Airport who should have been home 6 hours earlier. And
right,
And so finally we get on the plane. They go, okay, this plane's going to take you back to Dallas. And we had never been to Dallas. Everybody's just like, oh, you got to be kidding. Flip it out. It's just like, dude, American Airlines, Dallas is their hub.
Right.
They're going to get us. We're in Little Rock. You want to go back to Nashville, you fucking idiot?
Right.
They just wanted to go like directly to L.A. So then we get there, and then they wanted us to deplane to then get back on the plane for whatever fucking reason. I don't know. And this one guy, I hear this guy go, they can't possibly expect us to ever fly this airline again. I hated that he spoke for all of us.
Right.
It was just like, dude, I am absolutely going to fly this airline again because they showed me that if one of their planes is smoldering, they can get me on the ground safely.
Yeah.
Can you imagine forget that?
If they had been like, you know what?
Gold-toed sock-wearing cunt. I didn't even see his socks.
Yeah, but you
what
probably
I just pictured.
But if they're going like, you know, the plane's on fire, but maybe we can squeak it out. We don't want everybody to get mad.
Yeah,
Let's just try to keep flying.
The reality is every airline would have done that, but these guys did it.
They did it. That's the point.
That is a land immediately situation.
How many hours late did you get home? About 6 hours late?
It took me about 16 hours to get home from Nashville, and I didn't give a shit. Like, I was just kind of, I slept on the floor in Arkansas, and then we went to Dallas. I slept a little bit there, and then we got back on the plane, and then I slept the whole flight. And it's just, I didn't burn to death.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
when it's I've had one emergency landing in like '95. It was like a fear being dropped on you. It was like all-consuming terror. It's
what it is lack of control.
Total lack of control, and my greatest fear was heights. So when they start dumping fuel, saying there was a problem with the fuel transfer. The horror was like everything I was afraid of is happening. I'm going to die.
Yep.
And
and you don't have any. You're right. You're sitting in that seat.
No say. You can't pull over.
Right. I've had 5 aborted landings, and I've had that thing catch on fire a little bit.
That's a lot. You're due for like a bunch of safe flights because that's a lot to have.
I also, when I went to American Airlines, I never used miles or anything, and I went to go to the Admiral's Lounge, or whatever the stupid thing they call it. And of course, my card didn't work. And they were like, well, we can try to get you another one and blah, blah. So I was trying to sign up, and the lady looked at it. She goes, you have like 836,000 miles. And I started laughing. I was like, I never fucking use them. I don't use them because every time I want to use them, you're like, well, you can't use them then.
Yeah.
And then go to the website, and then I just feel like I have that thing, like I don't fucking work for you. So eventually I'm going to get him up to 1 million now I know that I'm that close. And but it was funny because somebody asked me recently, do you think you've flown 1 million miles? I was like, I don't know, man. That's a lot of miles. And now just thinking, because I used to fly Continental back when you flew them, and I had a bunch of miles on that. I had a bunch of miles on United. So if I have 800 on that, I would think that I got like, I've flown 1.5 million.
Probably more.
Yeah,
you don't realize how much you're flying. You just don't realize how many miles you're putting in the air. And then you're like, oh, my God, I got 600,000, and I've been spending them. I love them. I fly people in. I have a different life than you do. You have happiness in a home. I'm still waiting.
Lots of
I would love to see the lineup of those people you're flying in.
I'm like, what gender do you fly under?
What do you do, Jim, when you were just like, you should take time off? Like Bill was just talking about taking time off, and like, because it seems like when you take time off, you take time off. Like you go do your own stuff that's outside of all of this.
Oh, I had a couple things fall through too.
What kind of
I was
things?
going to go, well, I shouldn't say this because I didn't go. So it wasn't, but I was going to go get in a shark cage and watch great white sharks feeding. And my buddy ended up going. And I just, of course, this fucking business just knows, something good's going to happen, and I wasn't able to go. And but next year I'm definitely going for that.
Insane.
And he showed me, dude, like the pictures he took is like, it's like Discovery Channel level shit. And I know everybody's going to show me that thing where the great white shark gets into the
cage.
Yeah, but this is what people don't understand when it's in that. That thing was totally panicking and couldn't breathe. I actually felt bad for the shark. Yeah, even though there was a guy in there.
Yeah, I felt bad for the guy. I didn't feel bad for the shark.
I did, because we shouldn't be there fucking with them.
Right, like, but you're going in.
Huh?
You're going in the cage, though.
Yeah, so why would you feel bad for the guy?
Oh, so you're saying that, like, if a shark was in the cage with you,
that you shouldn't feel bad for me,
because you made that choice. You went into his house.
Out of my way,
right,
to get myself. It's not a tragedy when you go out of your way. So when I was watching that thing, as much as it was thrashing around, like the sharks gets like such bad reps that like they're these fucking monsters. They're naturally doing what they do.
Did the shark get out of it?
It did get out of it, but it had a big fucking welt. It looked like it was bleeding. I mean,
Why couldn't it couldn't breathe? Why?
Well, the second they stop, it's a Woody Allen joke. The second they stop moving forward, they can't breathe. So when it got in there, it's thrashing around because it has to keep water going through its gills. It's amazing. I know that, but not the helicopter shit. And then it eventually came out the top of the cage.
So it didn't kill the guy.
The last thing it was thinking was killing anything. It wanted to breathe. Like, are you thinking of eating a sandwich if someone had their hand around your throat?
Ironically, yes.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm speaking right now like I'm some sort of fucking.
No, but you're right. Like in the sense that it's very easy to avoid shark attacks.
Is that the water person? Oceanographer?
No, botanists are plants.
I know. I'm kidding.
Oh. I'm so stupid. I finally felt like I knew something.
Actually,
no way, botany, Bill. Boo.
It's very easy to avoid shark attacks. They're all the sharks are in the water. Like they're
very limited.
Yeah,
they're very limited.
If you go on the sand, there'll be no shark attacks. That's where you escape.
I was on a boat. We had a problem where there were possible sharks. We had to get off the boat. It was fucking horrifying.
Where?
It was called the USS Indianapolis.
You
Long
weren't,
time ago. Yes,
you
I
weren't on
was.
that boat. No, you weren't.
Yes, I was.
No, you weren't. But what do you do, like, Jim? Because you end up doing radio anyway, even if you're, like, not, traveling or you're not doing stand-up, you're still doing radio every morning.
It's a constant terror of, I've talked about this a lot recently, but it's a constant terror of being absolutely irrelevant. So I feel like if I take any time off, the entire business will forget me.
What's the Bill? What's the most amount of time that you'll
I'm looking up retreating blade stall right now.
What's the most amount of time that you'll take away from the business, like, entirely, that you just won't work on anything? Won't go do any sets. Won't write. Won't do anything.
All right, as far as show business, I could easily go 10 days. I could easily do that. I could take vacations, a couple weeks or something like that. But I have that thing, like, I can't just fucking chill out and just be by myself. You know what I mean? Like, I have to, like, I'm sorry, now this thing's dinging here, so I got to read this shit. I have to fucking do something. Like, if I have a whole day and there's nothing to do, I will go on the internet and I will find some recipe for something, and I'll just be watching people making shit, and then I'll go to the grocery store and I'll make shit. Like, I make, like, fucking steamed dumplings from scratch. I made, like, an elk cheesesteak sandwich the other night at, like, 1 in the fucking morning. I couldn't sleep. Oh, dude, it was fucking delicious. It was fucking delicious. Thanks to Joe Rogan, he shot the thing, and you do his podcast, he gives you all this elk meat. It's fucking great, right?
I want Rogan to cook me fucking elk back, because I watch his Instagram. It looks delicious.
Yeah, so it's really a lean meat. So it was more like it was sort of more like a hamburger sub kind of thing, because it wasn't like steaks. So I don't have a griddle, so I just kind of had it in the pan, and I had some onions and some peppers, got those things going, some mushrooms in there, a little extra virgin olive oil, cooked those fuckers up, and then I had these really amazing rolls that I put it on. And I told my wife I was going to do that, and she was just like, "What are you doing that for? It's all fucking late, typical shit." And then I come walking in, she's like, "I want a bite. Can you make me one?" And it just became that. I'm just laughing like, why do you always fucking do that? You wait till the fucking pan and all that is all cooled off. I swear to God, it's.
But the question would be, that you should anticipate that and just make extra.
Yeah, but it's one of those things that then if you fucking do it, then it won't happen.
She won't want it.
It's one of those. I believe that's Murphy's Law.
Can you cook? I can't cook, dude. I bought I have a good stove and all that shit. I literally cannot cook.
You can't at all?
No, my stove is unused. I've been there since April. I've never put anything in my oven.
Have you tried?
No.
So that's probably the reason.
Yeah, but I still couldn't do it.
Let's
Oh wait, retreating blade stall is a hazardous flight condition in a helicopter and other rotary wing aircraft where the rotor blade with the smaller resultant relative wind exceeds the critical angle. Any stall is due to an excessive angle of attack.
Excessive angle of attack.
So that's basically what that is. I can tell you this. You ever stick your arm out the window? All right?
I do. I like to do it.
Yeah. When you're a little kid, you stick your arm out the window. If you turn it like that, it starts going up like that.
That's right. You turn it like where the wind is hitting it.
Yeah. So what you're doing is you're basically producing lift. What you're doing is you're creating a low pressure system above your arm, and then there's a high pressure. High pressure goes directly to low pressure, which goes through the airfoil, which would be your arm. Okay. So then what happens is if you keep turning it and turning it and turning it to literally it's like a fucking billboard.
Right.
What happens is now the air is hitting it, and rather than flowing over the top, it hits it. And it's just sort of tumbling off the back, and you're losing lift.
Okay,
so
I see.
You go past the critical thing. So you basically you're flying too fast through the air, and rather than having your wings at an angle where it's producing lift, it's like just imagine having a billboard on one side while the other one is creating lift, and that's what causes that sound as it goes around. So it's not like you fall out of the sky. You're just doing major damage to the aircraft. So what you do is you slow down, and slowing down, you lower your collective, and then your angle of attack comes back to a point where it produces lift. Bam!
Boom!
Let me ask you a question about
it's like a physics class.
It really is. And I had no scientific background, and I sucked at all that shit. So if you're listening, that was the big thing I was afraid of was the ground school. It wasn't learn how. I knew it was a machine.
Yeah.
You show me how to operate it, I can fucking operate it. But having to know
the physics of how and why
everything works. How many people can drive
works.
A car, can't even fucking check the oil. You
right.
know what I mean?
Right.
But you have to know how the whole thing works, and you can forget if you don't look it up. So this has been very educational.
Why are they doing this
Thank
thing
you.
on
Of
planes
course.
now? I know it's for to save gas, but now the wings have these things pointing up. They look like goalposts. The wings they fitted them retroactively too for a lot of the older planes. What is the purpose of that? just making the wings curl up now instead of plain wings used to be like that, and now.
Well, I don't understand how the physics of that works, but adding those little things that stick up gave them better fuel economy.
It did, but I'm guessing.
I don't know why.
Yeah, I don't know what.
I have no idea why this. I don't know. I have no idea.
It's weird.
I can look that up.
Let's see. While you're looking that up, let's see if the phones work today. 866-969-1969. It's Jim Norton and Sam Roberts.
Yes,
Bill Burr is here.
Dan Harmon was very fun, too.
Dan Harmon was great. And Ellis was fun this morning. Let's go to Rob in Canada. What's up, buddy? Rob?
Hey,
there he
Rob.
is.
Hey, I just want to say I like your guys' podcast. All 3 podcasts are excellent. The show is excellent.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Oh, thank you.
And, Bill, you should try to convince Jimmy to come out to the Maritimes like you did, I think, 2 years ago, 3 years ago?
I could do that effortlessly. Effortlessly. The Maritimes are, it's basically the east coast of Canada. And where the hell did I play out there? I played in New Brunswick. I played, oh my God, I can't remember the place. It began with an M. Shit, I'll have to look it up.
Not Manitoba.
No.
Where's Manitoba? Is that Canada?
No, that's way out west.
Oh, is it? I'm totally the opposite.
Yeah.
I just knew
That's
it
like
has an M in
Winnipeg.
It does have an M in it.
Well, it's like north of like fucking the Dakotas. What the fuck was the name of the? I can't remember the name of the place. But
Montreal.
That's what it was.
you almost said it.
Montreal.
No, Mom. I can't remember what the fuck it was. Montauk. I can't remember the name of it.
Yeah, it's Montauk.
But they, dude, great fucking people. The most unbelievable fucking seafood I've ever had in my life. We went there in the wintertime, and let's see if I can find it on the map here.
Eastern Canada.
I want to give these people a shout out. When we went there, like they had like all this outdoor skating, right? And they had like an outdoor like just giant loop that you could just skate around. And the whole time you're just watching it. And there'd be like free public rinks, like in Ottawa there was this free public rink, which is not the Maritimes. But I was just thinking, like, this is why these fucking guys are so great at hockey, is they just...
it's always there.
There it is, Moncton. We did Moncton. We did Halifax, and we did someplace else. And we ate at the hotel restaurant, and the seafood was the best seafood I ever had. So, that's just some bullshit, thing. We didn't
Right.
Even
It's
go
not
to the
actually...
place. People were so psyched that we came. I brought all my hockey stuff. I played pickup hockey the whole way across Canada, sometimes indoors, sometimes outdoors. Dude, we played like they flooded like basketball courts, and you just sit there in this little ass rink, just having the greatest time. And I was drinking like a fish, but I was skating all day, so I didn't put on any weight. I had the best fucking time, and it was beautiful in the winter. I can't imagine like during the summertime. It's just it's just a place that people don't even think of. And I used to always think it was north of Maine. It's like it's sort of just east of it. So there you go. That's me.
So, Jim, you got to go there.
I've been getting requests over the years to go to Eastern Canada. There's a couple parts of Eastern Canada. I just don't remember the towns. People are like, you got to come out. Bill's coming.
And this is the thing about all those places. For them to see, most of the time, major acts, I would imagine all of them have to be like, how much is it going to cost us to get to Montreal? Or maybe we'll fly down to New York, like that, because nobody goes there. So when you go there, they're so psyched that for once they don't have to drive 8 fucking hours.
Right.
They're the greatest crowds. Where I'm not shitting on major cities, but like there's why wouldn't you come here? Of course you're coming here. We live in Boston. We live in New York. We live in Montreal, like Chicago. Major cities, like, all the big U2 Springsteen acts are going to go there. So if you go to those off-beaten ones, dude, that's what I've learned throughout the years, dude. They are the greatest fucking crowds. Everybody thinks, there's nobody out there. Nobody's going to show up. It's like there's a bunch of people out there that are into comedy, music, whatever the fuck it is, and they're dying to not have to get in their car
and drive 6 to 8 hours. Right.
So
That's
if you
a good
show
point.
up, it's an event. It's not just another show. That's been my experience.
Okay.
It's awesome. Let's go to Malcolm in Denver. Malcolm, welcome.
Denver?
Damn, Jimmy. What's happening, Billy Bitch Tit? Love you on the show. Jimmy, just want to congratulate you on your appearance at midnight yesterday. Nothing else was on TV, so I figured to check that out.
Thank you. That's kind of a lovely compliment.
Sort of a compliment.
Yeah, exactly. There was nothing else, so I looked at you. It was tolerable.
Well, I was kind of referring to the game. I watched you instead of the game, but never mind.
Oh, thank you.
I love the hate joke at the
How
end.
dumb am I? I didn't get your game.
There was a giant television program.
That was
on
a joke.
last
I'm
night.
sorry.
I didn't get it either, and I actually watched the game.
Me too. Thank you, buddy.
That's okay. could you just make it up to me by playing this song? I know you guys don't take musical requests, but you play the song sometimes. It's called The Teftification of the United States, I think.
Oh, the teftification of the U.S. of A. We'll get to that eventually. It's a very, very popular song.
The teftification of the USA?
A U.S. of A. We'll get to it in time.
You think so?
Yeah.
At Midnight was really good. We got to go. We filmed it, yesterday. Jim was on it, and it's just so fun that show exists because the jokes that you were saying were so like awful and mean and hilarious that I can't imagine any other show that would allow, like, there you got a Charlie Sheen AIDS joke in, a Paul Walker car crash joke in, like you got a Ron Goldman joke in, everything.
Yeah, it was really fun. It was really it was funny.
I'm not aware of that show.
It was a bit
what network?
Chris Hardwick on Comedy Central. Chris Hardwick hosted. He's a great host.
Yeah, it's good.
What's it called?
At Midnight?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And
I did his podcast. He asked me to do it.
You should do a show.
It's a fun show to do.
You don't want to do At Midnight?
No, I just like frustrating Chris Hardwick.
Oh, you do?
No, I'm fucking with him. He's fine. Believe me, that kid's doing fine.
Yeah.
He's a good host, and they really allow very dark content, which is kind of nice.
Yeah, it's really great.
It shouldn't be necessary on a show, but it's nice when you can do it, and they don't cry about it.
Oh boy.
What?
It's nice when people are adults.
We have a response to the wing question.
Okay.
This is good. Marshall in Houston.
Hey, what's going on, guys? How y'all doing today?
Marshall. Hello.
Good.
Hey, since Bill is a helicopter guy and not an airplane guy, I figured I'd help you out. The upright things on a wing are called winglets, and they are designed to keep the air from blowing from one side of the wing to the other and reduce drag and save a shit ton of gas.
Okay.
Reduce drag.
Reduce drag.
That's what happens.
That's the worst thing a club can do. So so they do help with gas mileage. Okay,
Yeah.
I just didn't understand why.
Yeah, because they reduce drag, Jim.
Yeah, I knew that, but I didn't know how.
Everybody knows that. Bill, are you doing political stuff in your humor? You gotta be doing Trump stuff, right?
I didn't. I did it for my special too, and I don't care if it's dated at that point because I just thought it was. I just look at the special of like this is just documenting where my act was on this night. It takes all the pressure off if I fucking miss a joke or whatever. It's just like, what were you doing that for? Because I taped it in October.
Yeah.
Like those whole people are like, a special should be timeless. It's not going to be.
Agreed,
It's not going to be because even Richard Pryor, we will talk about Ali versus Frazier or Gerald Ford or whatever. I think I can talk about Clinton.
Clinton, Trump.
It is funny how many people say that too. They're like, it's like, what are you fucking? I get if the whole thing is nothing but things that happened on Tuesday, but if it's like you can't just have an evergreen special that has nothing
And if the
current in it.
if the jokes are funny, it's not like you're gonna be like, yeah, it's funny, but it happened 3 months ago. I'm not interested.
Yeah, I don't
You
care
know
if
what I
you're
mean?
I don't
Like-
care if you're
like
watching my
listening to old music. Sorry, listen to old music, live albums, and they use like some slang that's from
Yeah.
sock it to me or some shit. You just hear people like wow, people actually said that or some shit. Like I like being put into the period.
Yeah.
Like I don't get like watching something and be like, oh, I can't watch this. This is clearly 2005.
Yeah. Although like that, like you can always there's always movies from like the 80s that everything is still perfect except for like the soundtrack. Like the scoring of it is all like synthesizer or something like that, and you're like, what? Why'd they do that?
But that's part of what makes it part of the 80s too, though.
Yeah.
Sometimes like the music or the 70s car car chase be like that.
Yeah. How does it go?
And they repeat it. It was a really popular song.
If you gave me a million choices of what era that was, I never would have got.
Yeah, no, I know, but it's so on point that it really brings you right back. You're like, that's of now. Yeah, it was just that.
Must be a car chase happening somewhere.
Yeah.
It sounded like Flappers era.
When is the special going to come out? Yeah,
I have no idea where. I don't even have a name for it yet. But
Do you know where yet? You don't have to.
Netflix. It's going to be on Netflix.
It is going to be on Netflix.
Yep.
That's
It's gonna
awesome.
be on Netflix. So yeah, I've had a great run with those guys. So that's basically that's it. That's all I got going on. I don't have anything else.
When did you shoot?
I shot it on the 21st.
So just recently.
Oh, you
Yeah.
just shot it.
So basically, with the amount of time that the cartoon takes up, F is for family. Like I just kind of shut everything else down.
Yeah.
It was just like, all right, I'm not gonna have. I mean, I could keep doing a little acting gig here or a little one there, but I just feel like You know?
Yeah, that's what I was going to
I mean,
ask
the
you if
parts
you're
I
still
get in
auditioning
movies are,
and-
I'm always, just standing there like, yeah, what the famous guy said. See? So I'm just kind of like, where the fuck is that going to get me? Or I could just really focus on
your
making the
projects.
show, as great as it can be. And not like I don't like getting roles in movies and that type of stuff, but it's just kind of like a
Yeah, you did make me laugh a lot in The Heat. I have
that
to
was
be
fun.
honest. I like that movie, and you did, which is exactly what you did. You jumped up, and, hey, fuck you.
Yeah, fuck it.
Yeah.
I'm the guy who drinks too much.
Right. I thought it was funny.
When I saw you in the fucking driving the van in Jordan's movie.
Oh, Zombievers.
Zombievers. Yeah,
with,
that was really great.
With
John Mayer.
John Mayer, yeah. Yeah, we had a great time. It was a one-day shoot, and, I think he's doing something else coming up. I don't know. Jordan Rubin. We
Yes.
way back in the day at the Boston Comedy Club, we used to all do stand-up together. And he's got another crazy one coming out, and we're trying to see if there's anything in there for me. But just, I don't know. I like doing that, just coming and just doing like a day or two. See you later.
Right.
Although I've been on some from almost the beginning to the end. I did that with Black or White, which was going to be called Black and White, but that was already taken. So then it became Black or White, which seemed more confrontational. Like you had to pick a side.
Yeah, which one do you choose?
Yeah, but that one, it was funny. I always wanted to be on a movie on the very last day when they went, that's a wrap, and that's everything. I wanted to be there, the excitement of it, and it ended up being really depressing. You want to leave before that. So everybody's like, oh, yeah, because when they're like, that's a wrap, that's it, everybody, it just scatters like fucking beetles because, you become like a professional job hunter. So in this business, especially all those boom guy, grip guys and everything, so they got to break everything down and go take off to the next fucking shoot. We had already had the wrap party 2-3 days earlier.
Oh.
Because they don't want to waste a minute.
And nobody will show up on it.
No, because we were rapping on a Tuesday.
Yeah.
So the Saturday was the wrap party.
Yeah.
So then Monday, Tuesday we shot and finished the movie, and then I always wanted to be there, and I was kind of like, oh, this is it. Now we're all going to hug and say, yeah, man, that was great. And everybody's just kind of like, hey, man, it was nice working with you. And they're zipping up their bags and getting the fuck out of there. And you're like, wow.
Because they're hoping to have another gig before the week's over or whatever.
Most of them do, and a lot of actors then go on to something else, and it's just that weird, that thing, the cliche thing I'd always heard. Everybody's so close. You become a family, and then it just, boom, that's a wrap, and then it's just over, and you move on to the next thing. Although the guy who wrote and directed it, Mike Binder, I've become great friends with him, though.
It's weird, though, because that happens, and then everybody has to kind of do stuff sometimes a year later when the thing's finally done and it's time to promote it. You know what I mean? People start doing interviews for this thing that has been out of their life for probably 9 months or so.
And you forget that they're already in another family doing another project.
They've probably had 2 families since then.
Yep.
Yeah.
And you got to
and
go
then
back
you come
and
back.
promote.
Yeah, it's really weird. It's still also kind of fun, though. It's the kind of thing that I always liked about stand-up. I always loved doing the road because when I used to have a day job, there was at that point where if I had been somewhere for a year, and it's you could rewind my life, and I was standing right here unloading these boxes. You would just fucked with me for some reason with the change of venue. Even though I was at the Cellar forever, I've been at the Comedy Store forever, but it's just I go to these different venues, and each week I don't have to drive to the same building. Stand in the same spot.
At least,
there's something different. There's different people. There's different food, and I think that helps me. But also, it keeps me unbelievably scatterbrained, which I am. Which is why
it's because there's nothing constant. But it is nice. It beats going to the same place. I do radio's the same place, but it's different every day.
Right.
Because you're talking. It's your guests. It's just a fun, alive place.
Yeah.
But doing the same job every day in a cubicle, it's just
stagnant. Ugh. And it's you're not growing. It's just the same thing over and over, and you get complacent, right? You find your spot and you're just this is what I'm doing.
Yeah,
and it's every day.
And then it just then I think what happens is you do shut down. I don't think human beings are meant to do, at least some are wired most of the people I know, you're not meant to do the same thing every single day, and if you do that, there's this rut that you can get into.
Right.
That yeah, so I'm still killing myself that I didn't know retreating blades. So I thought it was the symmetry of lift. I confused the two of them.
You did. It's okay. It happens to the best of us.
At least it happened on the ground, Sam.
Yeah, at least it happened on the ground.
At least it didn't happen up there. Could have been up
there.
There
you go. I heckled him.
Did you?
I had
to.
Rickles.
Don Rickles. It was the end of his show, and he was just doing question and answering, and I was just way in the back, and I wasn't going to get to meet him, and I had to have an interaction with him.
Yeah.
So I just was in the back, and as he was talking, making everybody laugh, I just went, Donnie! And he didn't say anything. And I waited like another 5 minutes. He kept doing jokes, and then I just went, Donnie! And he just looked and he goes, yeah, I know my name. and then my buddy, like, he hit me. He's like, okay, that was it. That's all I needed.
That was enough.
Yeah. People in front of me were mad at me and shit. And then afterwards, I was like, wow, I just really did what.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, I just did that.
Is there anything worse than when you're on stage and you know you have a pause built into something, and then every time you do that joke, you're like, someone's going to yell. And when they don't yell and you get to it, you're like, oh, another time.
I find
if
I don't think someone's going to yell, but if you actually go, someone's going to yell, then it just becomes like someone's going to say. I swear to God, dude, somebody from the back row, the upper deck, can sense that one wavering moment you don't have confidence. It's not even visible. It's something in your voice. They just, I'm telling you, you step back, they all move forward. You step towards them, they sit back.
Animalistic, like the audience senses weakness and they're ready to jump.
I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
It's just, it's a respect thing. Oh, I like this. Yeah, fuck this. Like this, without even realizing it, they just feel like, and then you become the substitute teacher up there.
Even if it's a weird yell, but a lot of times they'll use it to yell something like that, like nice, or like they just want to be. They want
love you, Jimmy.
Honestly, yeah, it's not. It's usually not a nasty heckle. It's usually not like it's almost never nasty.
Oh, that I learned that watching him, Caroline's, a long time ago. I watched him. Somebody said something. What did he say? And he went, "Oh, okay." And I was thinking like, "Oh, you can do that." Because so many times, like, the person was like ordering or something, but so many times, anybody who was talking, I was so fucking defensive for the first 12 years I did this. Any of them were talking.
You're just on a hairline trigger at all
They
times.
were all saying, this guy sucks, his career's over, let's beat the shit out of him, whatever I was thinking. So I would just, anybody talked, I would just shit all over him. And the amount of, then afterwards, when I was selling my CD, you know, people would come up to me and be like, I was just getting potato skins. Or I was actually just saying that, that happened to me. And they would be really fucking offended. And then I'd be standing there like going, all right, yeah. And then I'd always try to remember, like, all right, they're not all. And I mean, thinking, no, it didn't register till I remember I saw you at Caroline's. Caroline's, you did it. And I was just like, oh. I got to try that one time.
You could just be a person and be like, what did you say? Oh,
hey, what did you say? You said, oh, that happened to you too? Okay, so you know what I'm talking about. And you can go back to your act instead of being like, hey, nice head, you fucking cunt. And it was just like.
Even though that feels better to say.
Did you start? Were you angry when you started comedy, or did that like develop? Like, did you have that tension when you got up?
Not
there
on
from the
stage,
beginning?
I wasn't, but I also I was completely not aware of who I was when I thought I was fine. I thought my childhood was fine. I thought everything was fine. And I got on stage, and then gradually the events that happened preceding my career the waves started crashing on the beach, basically. And where I ended up going in life and where the fuck I was at, I got really angry towards like in my 30s. And
who'd you get angry at?
I was just mad at the world. Like I was an angry guy. I wasn't like literally mad at the world. I was just reacting in anger and everything. And it was like your 20s to me are like, you're just taking out your childhood on the world because you don't know what you're doing. You just left your parents' house and now you're just reacting, to whatever happened, good or bad. And then like in your 30s, that's when as an adult you have to start fucking looking back at yourself. And that's when I started, I think when I was like 35, 36, and I was single again. I'd fucked up another relationship, and I was sleeping on a futon.
Yeah.
And I was just kind of like, doing the whole pity party thing, and chicks are fucked up, and this business is fucked up, and blah, 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 and all that. That was sort of...
It's never you. It's everything around you.
Yeah.
That's all fucked up.
That's when I started to look inward. Continued to fuck up for another 5 years, 6, 7, 8 years, but it started tapering back down. Like it was sort of a gradual ascent of fucking up and then descent. Where now,
so it wasn't like comedy. It was like it was everything in your life, and then a lot of times the anger would just come out on stage.
Yeah. Well, actually being on stage was kind of the place where, believe it or not, I was the least angry. A lot of times, sometimes you're on stage too, and if you're yelling or you're doing these characters, people think that you're mad while you're doing it. They don't realize that you're having a great time.
Right.
But I think it just, it's sort of 41, 42 was when it peaked, and I started to kind of turn it around.
It gets exhausting after a while. Being angry a lot, it's like, ugh.
And I always read it's the most immature knee-jerk emotion to have. It doesn't solve anything, and it's a really immature way of handling shit. It's funny to watch.
Yeah, it's great.
Somebody losing their shit. And I actually get a charge out of watching people lose their shit because I so relate to it. But
it's when you take it home with you and it's in the car with you. It's just toxic and it's always there. It doesn't feel good.
Yeah, and it's one of those things that I grew up around a lot of volatile people, and you think in your head, I'm never doing that. I'm not going to associate with people, blah, 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 blah. And then what it is you go out in the world, and unless you've really worked it out, you just gravitate towards what is natural, which is why, all of us lunatics, I think, because I think now, like, we have really healthy back and forth. But when I look back at a lot of that shit at the table, a lot of that was not healthy. Where we were sitting there going, we're toughing each other up to go on stage.
But it was really just all your anger and insecurity.
I used to fucking go, and him and Patrice and Keith and all those guys would be down there. Like, I remember I would be thinking about their faces and everything, and I would try to come up with like 3 or 4 fucking jabs just so I could get to the seat, so I could sit down. And it never dawned on me when it wasn't working for me, because I was really angry back then, to just be like, why don't you just not go there? Why don't you just sit down at another table? Because the way I grew up was that's what everybody did to everybody. So that was the Thanksgiving table, dude. Like when I look back at that, we were just, the broken toys just fucking beating the shit out of each other. I mean, it was fucking... It was fun, it was definitely fun, but there was definitely times where, you and I got into real arguments. Me and Patrice got in real arguments. You got into it with people. Bobby got into it with people. Like, it would then...
Me and Bobby had a real one recently. We were yelling at each other for
That's
something.
part of being friends with Bob, though. You know that's going to come.
Yeah. And I'll tell you one thing Bobby's good at. He calls you, like, dude, look, man. And he calls you the next day. Like, he reached out, and I guess...
You want to hear one of the best Bobby Kelly stories I have? One time we were taking the subway uptown, and he was talking about the business and everything. And I thought I was actively listening and going, yeah, blah, blah, blah. I don't know what I was doing. So he was going to help me with my computer. So he was going to my apartment. So we were walking down the street. It's like the middle of the afternoon. And in my head, I must have tuned him out, because I started thinking like, well, this is fucked up, because he used to live right next to me. He's going to go all the way up to my apartment to fix my computer. Why don't I just run up and get the computer, and I'll bring it down to his. I was trying to make his life easier. Right. So I was thinking about that, which goes back to the whole Catholic guilt of like, somebody's going to be handling my needs. I can't. I got to be more ingratiating.
Can't just
so I
I
guess I wasn't listening. I have no idea. So he was in the middle of talking, and as he was talking, I just go, "Hey Bob, I'm just going to run up and grab a computer." And he's the top of his lungs, broad daylight with buildings on either side, so it echoed. He just goes, "Don't interrupt me, cunt!" at the top of his fucking lungs. Like, dude, I'm telling you, when I tell you, dude, out of fucking nowhere, like, he was totally talking, my agent, I just feel like they're not sending me out enough, and I just say, "Hey, Bob," and he just fucking went from 0 to 1,000, and people like strollers fucking looking around and shit, and I just looked at him, I just actually, for some reason, because I was getting older then, I just remained calm. I just said, "Bob, I thought we were past this." And then he sort of had a smirk on his face, and then it just sort of just stopped. And then we went up, we fixed the computer, but it was still dysfunctional because I don't think we quite addressed it.
Right.
But I just said, I thought we were past this. And then he tried to still kind of, and then he just had nothing because I didn't react to it, and the whole fucking thing went away. But it was just like,
that's great.
That's
great.
Yeah, dude, I'll never forget that, man. We were right. I remember exactly where the fuck we were. Not even "you fucking cunt." It was so like, "Don't interrupt me, cunt!" And it just fucking like, I mean, it probably made it to the Hudson, dude. It was amazing. It was actually, it was a performance piece. So I whenever I look back on it, I always laugh. And then I'm also like going like, I can go. Like I went 0 to 1,000. Like, I'm really good with traffic now, but like, when I was just like, watching this fucking thing as it's getting you there. Like, it's the mistake I always make. I put in Sirius XM, and for my place, it said it's going to take 31 minutes. But I forget that's at 8 o'clock, and then I leave at 8:15, and now it's saying 40. I'm like, oh, fuck, now I'm not going to get there until, 8:50. And then you're driving, then it starts going 8:51, 8:52, 8:51, 8:54, 9 o'clock, 8:50, and then it just starts building up. I just started thinking, like, I finally was just able to say in my head, like, if I get there at 9:05, are they really gonna fucking flip out? I mean,
be fine.
We're gonna be fine. Everything's gonna be fine.
Wait, what did Bobby say to you? What did Bob say when you asked him to go up and get your computer?
when you were like, hey, I'm just gonna go upstairs and get the computer.
Oh, don't interrupt me, cunt!
That's gonna make me laugh all day.
I want that as a sound clip.
Yeah.
One of Bill's versions of that, it's the greatest thing I've heard in 5 years. I want a version of that. That's so fucking funny.
Dude, and like literally talked to me like I was his child. and the greatest thing ever was one of the only times in my life that I didn't immediately match that energy and also block everybody out. Dude, if I matched that energy, his fucking volatility with my volatility and like what that would have been like, we immediately would have been like, you ever watch those movies about New York where they try to New York it too much and they have these lunatics screaming like, dude, that never fucking happens. And we would have been like those guys.
Yeah.
Well, we're out of time actually. On the show. That's it.
Don't interrupt me, cunt!
That may be the perfect one to get for this.
I want one of those 4 or 5. Adrian, please look through those. Those are very, very funny, man.
Bill, we're so glad that you.
You gotta have that on, like when a caller calls.
That's what I'm saying.
You gotta have it. You gotta have it.
Yes, I got a little sound thing now. Believe me, that's going right into the repertoire. That's awesome.
We're
just
so
make
glad
sure
that
you give the artist credit. Bobby Kelly.
Yeah, Bobby. We're so glad that you hung out, man.
I don't want to be accused of being stealing from his day-to-day phrases.
It was fun. Thanks to
hey,
Bill
thanks
Burr.
for having me. Congratulations on your show. I'm really happy for you guys.
Thank you very much.
It's been fun.
All you guys fucking moving
you.
on to bigger and better things.
Yes.
Right? And then someday you get the whole band back together for the one Eagles tour.
Yeah,
right?
the reunion
you,
tour.
Opie and Anthony, and then you go back to your own private projects. It's perfect.
Right.
It's perfect.
Just to satisfy everybody for this one, and then back to what we actually like to do.
I'm trying to think of the lyrics to Hotel California, and I can't even think of them.
Also, thanks to Jason Ellis and Dan Harmon.
Yeah, really fun.
Who were both great on the show. And we'll be back tomorrow. Jim, you want to plug
I'll just be at the Improv on Friday. It's a set I'm doing in L.A.
And just be at one of the biggest clubs in the country. Yeah, just headlining it.
Just doing one little set. And then
selling it out.
Fort Lauderdale and a bunch of other gigs leading up to the special December 17th.
And then all your Netflix stuff will come eventually. I'm assuming once there's dates on everything.
Yeah, we're looking at spring for F is for Family. And also, I'm doing Conan, November 9th.
Oh,
and
great.
we will be announcing the ticket sales for the 5th, believe it or not, Patrice O'Neill Comedy Benefit.
Oh, great.
Yep, at the New York City Center.
Yes.
And all proceeds, after we pay for the theater, of course, will go to his family.
Well, as always, we'll be there for that, too. But
absolutely.
Thank you, man. And
I appreciate it, Jim. You've been doing it every goddamn year.
Yeah, I'm sure eventually I won't, but they asked me and I'm just in town in February.
Here's the thing, too. Like, what I should be telling you guys, like, the stress of having to do it every year. It's one of those things where I know you guys love them, so I feel like you'll get upset if I don't ask. But then also, I don't want to give you the fucking pressure that you got to have a new killer 15 every year.
No, I don't feel. If I couldn't do it, I would say.
Your hands up here. You're making me nervous.
No, I'm actually just touching.
I don't feel
I couldn't
that kind
for
of
me.
pressure.
I just.
It was only one hand. My other hand, I'm sitting on. So.